Hi everyone. To discuss the paper about the exam feedback point from few the first term examination, today I'm going to discuss about the 12 mark and 9 mark structures. In your examination also this time we gave you about the large which came from the Mark and Spencer. We gave a question whether it's a location decision, is a like it has a good idea or something evaluation question, and the 9 mark questions also we discuss about that. We talk about the most important thing, the small business and large business, right? So when we look at the glance of your paper, we talk about that the 9 mark questions and 12 mark questions. We talk about that. You can see question 4 mainly I'm focused on section B, the Mark and Spencer. We talk about the explained questions. We talk about the analyzed questions, how the multinational company to be a good advantage to the host country or not. And also we're talking about mainly the 12 mark questions, right? The question number 4 mainly, the real Edexcel examination paper, it should be probably there's one question mark coming under section C. I can see the always it's the largest question. The more proportion of the paper is based on 12 marker. And don't forget, to answer 12 marker, 12 minutes are there. To write a 12 mark question. Normally, all the exam assessment objectives are there. Normally checking year 1 knowledge, year 2 application, year 3 analysis, and year 4 evaluation and everything. Right. Okay, this question also, this question you're asking, the market Spencer has crashed. Its first ever loss at a clothing sales, and then collapsed during the first coronavirus lockdown. As outlets in England face restrictions, and with Mark and Spencer's clothing department forced to close for half or 6 month period. The pandemic wiped more than the 600 million pounds from their sales, and a spike of it online sales has given Mark and Thomas, right? And then hope that motivation to use the internet to trade. So location, they're asking whether the online distribution, the online sales, the online will be a good location or not, right? What do you think about that a new location? When you write it for this kind of a question, evaluate the impact of the internet on the location business. Whether it's a good idea, you should use information provided in the case study as well as your own knowledge of the business. When you're writing for this kind of a question, how would you address this kind of a question? Okay, let's look at a small video clip, and after that we'll talk about what kind of answer we're expecting of this kind of answer. Right, now I'm moving into this video clip, small video clip, then we'll move on to the lesson again, right?
Say AO2, so 3 marks for application, and then your AO3 split into A and B. A for your evaluation, you're going to get 3 marks, so your analysis and evaluation will get you 3 marks, and there'll be 3 marks for AO3B, which is your judgment. So you must make a judgment. You must do an AJKO, an Anthony Joshua knockout punch, but we'll get to that at the end of this video. So that's how the marks will come. Key thing for you is probably about 12 minutes to write this question. So you need to make sure if you are going through the paper in a chronological order, then you save yourself at least 12 minutes to answer this 12 marker at the end of the paper, because it's a big proportion of your marks. And you will find this 12 marker in section C of your paper, and there will be one 12 marker for each paper. So each of your 2 papers, each one has one 12 marker. The 12 marker is very likely to start with the words evaluate whether. So it's going to be evaluate whether something is a good idea. The something is basically the question. Examples of what the something could possibly be, and this is not an extensive list, I'm sure there are other combinations, but it's a good feel of what could come up. Is that evaluate whether something is a good idea. If it's paper 1, it could be setting up a business is a good idea. If increasing or reducing your product range is a good idea. Changing your business location is a good idea. If moving from a sole trader to a private limited company is a good idea. If choosing a certain type of finance, a source of finance is a good idea, maybe you choose debt or equity, or if becoming a franchisee is a good idea. Well, that's paper 1 in blue. If it's paper 2 in red, it could be evaluate whether is a good idea. Moving from just in case to just in time stock management is a good idea. Changing the focus of your marketing mix is a good idea. Maybe towards place and away from price, for example. Or changing the organizational structure of the business, maybe moving from a centralized to a decentralized structure. Or it could be a decision between if you want to extend your factory or you need to buy some new capital. So it may be a case of looking at sources of finance and calculating the ARR given to you, the numbers given to you in the case study for you to bring out and use as part of your judgment. All sorts of ideas you can see for paper 1 or paper 2, 12 markers. So evaluate whether something is a good idea. After that, it will say you should use the information provided. That information is the case study. And that's so important because that relates to the 3 AO2 marks that you get. So you need to use that case study. It's there. And it's going to, you love the little hooks that you can just reel in like you're fishing and bring them into your answer. And the other thing we'll say is your business knowledge. And that part is to do with this AO1B, so using those concepts that you know, applying the concepts in the question to make sure you are accurate in how you say it and you pick up the AO1B marks. So how do you answer this question? Well, I think one way that you could potentially use to answer this question is as so. So basically, evaluate whether something is a good idea. So you've got to show both sides of the argument. So you could say, yes, I think it's a good idea. And then afterwards, you would go, no, I don't think it's a good idea because of these reasons. And at the end, you will make a judgment. But let's go through in detail how to do that. So yes, it's a good idea. Well, if you're going to start with why whatever the something is a good idea, well, make one strong point, one really strong point that you can go into chains of analysis about. By chains of analysis, I mean explain your point. Use feeler lines such as this means, as a result, this leads to, as a consequence. They help you channel your knowledge, and it's all in there. You're going to get it out onto that piece of paper in even 12 minutes. So you've got to make the point, explain in detail, and use these kind of terminology to get you going. Then you need to ensure to the case study to pick up those AO2 marks. It does say, after all, you should use the information provided. And after you've linked it to case study, you need to think about what could be the impact on the business of this idea that you're doing. And what could be the impact on business areas? So think about the impact on marketing, the impact on operations, the impact on HR, the impact on finance. Maybe the question is, for example, to do with just in case and just in time. So it's directly talking about operations, but how could you link that to another business area? Maybe if you move from just in case to just in time, it affects the finance department because you might have now. So there's lots of ways that you can think about doing impact on business areas, other business areas. And MELI. And if you do MELI plus business areas, it's believer. So believer, but do that. Okay. Here, after you've believered, you need to go and get those evaluation points. So the evaluation points coming in AO3A, 3 marks. So whatever your point is, maybe consider what it depends on. So you can curl the paragraph after and go, however, it depends on. It depends on what? Think about it. Then you need to go to the other side of the argument. So on the other hand, it could be a bad idea, and then explain why it could be a bad idea. Make the point, like here. Explain the point, like you did here. Link it to the case study, like you did on this side. Then state the impact on the business and business areas. So exactly the same process, but from the other side of the argument, why it's not a good idea, why it's a bad idea. And those business areas, marketing, operations, HR, finance, go through them. Think about how each one might be affected by whatever the something is. Then, again, do a curl. However, it depends on. What does this point depend on? You're saying it's a bad idea, but maybe it's not that bad an idea because it depends on this and this situation happening. And then the key is, because 3 marks come from AO3B, that's judgment. You need to decide, you need to evaluate whether it's a good idea and you've given all your details, or it's a bad idea and you've given all the details for that. You need to make a judgment at the end. A way you could do that, and what I love doing is the AJ knockout, the Anthony Joshua knockout judgment. So A stands for answer the question. Is it a good idea or is it a bad idea? Just go out and outright answer it. Then J, justify why. So come out with potentially the reason for why you think it's a good idea or why you think it's a bad idea. You can use the most important reason, for example. Then to go special, do K, part of the knockout. Appreciate that in anything you choose, there is probably a key flaw. What is that key flaw? And then O, why do you and how can you comeback key floor in the long term. And that is the knockout that could potentially get you into the top of that level 3 and at 12 out of 12. So AJ knockout, answer, justify, appreciate as a key floor, and then bang, why you can overcome that in the long run for that knockout. I hope that helps with how you answer Edexcel 12 markers. And if you're enjoying these videos, make sure you click right there just about now. And
okay, so you can see, guys, mainly we talk about today the 12 marker structure, right? Before, I think that video clip was very helpful. You can find out that he actually he introduced some kind of points like the knowledge, application, analysis, evaluation. This is why actually I told you, right? This 12 markers should start with like a definition first, and then we can talk about the he expressed some kind of like a points, kind of like called like a Meliba, something like a make and after that explain and then link and then use the business area like that. So that's another like a style of writing 12 marker. But I believe that I think I told you to write 12 marker, you have to write at least like the two advantages and the two disadvantages. That means like you have to find out the good points, why you select this option, what is a good, for example, this location decisions, and why you should not. However, this will be the bad side of that decision. The good side of a decision as well as the bad side of the decision. You should balance it like that. You must have like that kind of like a 3 points like that, because that 6 strands we can have. So you can say the why you should select this online sales. In this case, sales have given the good opportunity to the online sales situation. That's a location, decision, internet. However, this is a drawback. This is not good because of this. And secondly, why online sales is good, and secondly why it is bad, however because of this it will be bad. And thirdly, again, right, online sales will be 24 hours you can operate and everything. However, there can be like technological sometimes breakdowns and some virus, those things are there, right? And then you have to use however it depends the judgment. He talk about some kind of like a method called like a like Joshua and then knockout judgment, something like that. But mainly we asking that kind of thing, what kind of a evaluation, however it depends on what are the solution to overcome this situation, like kind of conclusion thing. So AO4 in this case he mentioned about AO3 part B, same thing. Here we talk about the what is actually your evaluation, what is your solution for the this situation if you want to overcome the situation. At that point, the online sales, there are drawbacks such as there can be malware, there can be ransomware, there can be any virus and attacks and everything can become. Sometimes there will be some customer, they don't know, like they don't like to actually use the virtual shopping and everything. They don't like that. They want to go to the shopping place and they want to buy, they want to fit on and everything. But you can give some solutions for that situation. You can say having a good like a virus guard will be pretty okay. Having like good like a financial system, like a payment system, it's safe system is very fine. And also you can say like organization can have kind of a proper like a virtual like a fit on room. I think MNS might be, you can see some organization like this, they can afford this like a virtual fit on rooms. We can give like experience, we can like a fit on and put that thing into your body, and you can see that how it will fit on you and everything side like that. So organizations can find out this kind of advantages as well as disadvantages. When you write your 12 marker, I'll show you what is our marking scheme, what we expect for this situation, right? So the last question, the 12 marker, we talk about the mainly the Mark & Spencer, the online thing. So it's location as a business location decision, right? I found out that when you're writing, I think the most of you actually have some kind of a timing problem. As we mentioned in the earlier of this video, I told you only 12 marks are there. So when you write it for a 12 marker, you have to manage the time for a 12 marker. But the most of the students actually, they haven't had, only paper that time, 1.5 hour, 90-minute paper for 80 marks. But most of all, mainly the organization. So when you're organizing part of the paper, you haven't allocated that much of enough time. That's why at the end, because of that, I think the product that we expect from you is not there. At the end, we find out mainly. But you can see this marking scheme. We expect some kind of a AO1 definition like introduction to online location as an alternative to physical outlets operator. AO2, we talk about any appropriate response from the Mark and Spencer. We have to talk about the clothing line, the link to the given case study. And then AO3, you can see the advantages and disadvantages. You can see the benefits of the e-commerce for different businesses. consumers, you can see it will be a cheaper method, and then 24/7 now operation, huge amount of choice, and then can access from anywhere. And for business organization, lower in the operation cost, low transaction processing cost, no documentation cost, payments can be made and received online. These are the main thing for business, for multi organization, from e-commerce. And you have impact of that, you can see the however point. However, those are very good. I know basically 24 operation and the cheaper method, and then it will be no documentation cost for the customers, and market expense you can easily the lower processing cost and everything when you only just play right click, yeah, no, smartphone or tab or laptop, you can order everything 24/7 hours, or we can operate and you can go shopping online. And this thing you have to link to the given case study about selecting materials, selecting the accessories, selecting the gift packs for the Christmas. Like that, you can should be able to talk something about the clothing industry. Then you can earn some good marks. High competition from other online retailers. However, this is a however point. Like you know, talk about the threats and everything I talk about. However, you know, this even though 24 operate, there's high competition from the other retailers such as Amazon, AliExpress. Administrative works are there, a lot of increase. Sometimes may have to employ a separate worker in that particular way to actually administer all these online orders. And also cost of plus cost turns because of the return due to the unsatisfied shopping experience, right? Perishable goods, sometimes materials like dresses and everything, shoe sizes can be different, right? So as a result of that, the cost of return goods, because some people are unsatisfied customers are there, they're returning those goods. So we can talk about that. And also the threat of the online virus, hacking, data loss, and everything can be happen anytime. If someone hacked the system, there's a threat is there. Then conclusion, you have to write about some kind of a solution for those things to overcome. You can see conclusion we expect, however it depends on, you can see maintaining high and upgrading the website, right? And offer consumer better shopping experience, and also secure shopping methods to avoid any fraudulent transactions. It's another thing. And also finally, to avoid delays in delivering the goods, reliable distribution channels should be picked. This kind of things actually I'd like to introduce you as a conclusion. So that's kind of answer only we expect from you in the 12 marker structure, right? This is the mainly the 12 marker, the Mark and Spencer question, right? When you go through your answers, I noticed that in the most of you actually only some of your answers, introductions were there, applications were like a very limited level applications might be there, because you have to improve that. More like application really important for any organization, any paper, even 9 marker or 12 marker or even 6 marker. When 1 marker question, application skills is really important. And then regarding the AO3, right? Some of you write a really good points regarding the online, the website sales and everything. From internet sales is a good alternative for the physical location, the internet. So talk about, but there is a lot of, I think the judgment part, the AO4, the higher level expected assessment objective was not their impact. However, few of you only can see, some of you got 9 out of 12 or 10 out of 12 like that, but no one awarded like a 12 out of 12, because that kind of like a the like a best answer I'm expecting from you next time, right? So the conclusion also, so most of you actually haven't written any conclusion. The conclusion part is really important. If you're writing like that kind of answer, we expect this kind of a like a good answer, right, with all that assessment objective, AO1, AO2, AO3, and AO4. And we talk about the 9 marker question of this paper. We expect the 9 marker question, the option questions. There's one 9 mark question also there. In the small business section, you can see we expect the 9 mark question, this one, the customer satisfaction or profit. So like that, this is from a small business section, we expect a 9 mark question, either 2 options. Either it's customer satisfaction or it's a profit. When you're writing a 9 mark option question, like a justify questions, so you should have use a particular method like that. Okay, let's move on to some small video clip again, and we will just find out what is a 9 mark question again. How to write a perfect answer for a 9 mark question. Let's look at this video and see.
To answer them. Let's see where the 9 marks come from first. So you're going to get no marks for AO1, so do not waste time with definitions. No marks there. You're going to get 3 marks for AO2, so you get 3 marks for using the case study and applying your answer to it. 3 marks, so think as a rule of thumb to do it 3 times in your answer. Then you're going to get 3 marks for AO3A. AO3A is about analysis, so your pros and your cons and your impacts, and your evaluation. What do each of these points depend on? And then you're going to get to AO3B, which is 3 marks, and that's for making a recommendation, making a conclusion, and justifying it. And justifying it is likely to be the first word in your question. So it could be along the lines of justify whether company XYZ should do either something or not do it, or should they take option 1 or option 2. Likely one of those two methods. It could be, should they invest? Should they not invest? Should they promote? Should they promote another way? Should they train? Should they reward? Should they increase their prices? Or should they reduce their costs? Should they franchise or should they not franchise? Or should they open to multi-channel distribution? Should they use another different channel of distribution or should they not use it? So for all of these questions, these 9 markers, it's likely you either are thinking, yes, they should do it, or no, they should not do it. And which side that you go with, say you go with, yes, they should do it, you want to be thinking about a 2-1 strategy here. So you want to have 2 points for why, yes, they should do it, but then you show some analysis and you show 1 point on the other side, on the no side, for potentially why maybe they shouldn't do it. If you're going to go no for your answer, then you're thinking about a 1-2 strategy. So 2 points for no and 1 point for yes. In this example, I'll show you a way you could answer it. If your teacher is suggesting a different way, use that. So let's say you are saying, yes, they should do it, and you're going to go for a 2-1 strategy. So yes, they should, whatever it is. You could start along the lines of, I recommend. Go straight out and make the recommendation and bring out one of your first 2 points in your 2-1 strategy. So I recommend that they should do it, whatever it is, and make that point. Then go into that point in more detail, explain why, what it could lead to as a consequence, what are the bonuses, how could it affect efficiency or productivity in positive ways. So that's known as your chains of analysis, with 2 or 3 detailed sentences that are very powerful, picking up strong marks in the AO3A section. Then look to link to the case study. As I said, you want to be doing it 3 times across this answer, getting 1 point for each time. So link it to the case study. So back up your explained points. Then show the impact on the business and also the impact on the business areas. Is there an impact on operations or on marketing or on HR or on finance? What are the impacts there? A simple way to remember that is I recommend Maliba. After you've Malibaed, you want to then consider what does your Maliba depend on? So it depends on. For example, it could be you've suggested they take on a loan and you've suggested all the great reasons why that's the case. Then you could say it depends on the interest rates, because what the interest rates will depict what the size of the loan is. So that's the evaluation point in that example. Once you've done a Maliba, it depends on, you then want to go to the other side of the argument. So on the other hand, if you took the other route and then go through the same motions, make the point, explain the point, the chains of analysis, why the other option or not doing it could be a good thing for the business. Link it to the case study, pick up another mark there. What's the impact on the business and what are the impacts on those business areas? So each of those 4 departments. Then once you've Malibaed, again, you need to again think about what are the it depends on points. So again, you're making a point and then you're evaluating. So you're really picking up strong marks in these sections. And then once you've done a point on each side, you need to come to the judgment and you need to justify it. So let's go. So the last bit of the question, you need to come to that final judgment, that final justification. And for that, you can do overall company XYZ, they should do it or they should not do it. So make sure you answer the question. Let's just say you said they should do it because you want to keep that narrative, because you said a 2-1 strategy, 2 for yes, 1 for no in terms of your points. So you want to make sure that you keep the narrative that way. So if you've got with 2 yes points, make sure in your judgment you are still saying yes. Don't change or you'll look silly. So overall, company XYZ should, that's answering the question, and then you need to justify it, because that's exactly what the question was. Justify it, ideally with another reason, and ideally do another Maliba on that reason. So for the other reason you've got, make the point, explain it, link it to the case study, impact on the business, impact on the business areas. There will be a second point in that, because the case studies are thick, you can really go through and find those big points. After that, you've justified it, then you might want to do a quick appreciation of the key drawback of taking that route or taking that option. show some evaluation there. And then you need to say, well, but overall, why is this solution that I have proposed the best thing for the business in the long term? Don't just say it's the best in the long term. Say why it's the best decision in the long term. Is it ultimately what they need to do? Is the necessity for them to make profit, or a necessity for them to survive, or get market share, or please their shareholders? Make sure you justify why it is important in the long term. The last thing to think about is some tips. So the first one is AJKO, is a good way to remember it. AJKO. So AJKO is mandatory if you want to score high, and I know you want to score high, and I know you want to score up in those 8s and 9s. So you need to do that to pick up those AO3B marks. And the other thing is use the case study. It's there to help you. All the answers are in it. You just need to find them and then explain them in more detail, explain the reasoning behind them. And finally, do not be afraid to use, if there's numbers in that case study, do not be afraid to turn them into percentages to justify your answer, because you might be able to manipulate the data, do some quick calculations.
Okay, so now we talk about that 9-marker structure there. So 9-marker structure basically talk about the my strategy also. You can see talk about mainly the 2 situation. I told you a 2-1 method. I told you justify, you can assess like a 2-2 method also, correct? Because there are certain ways of writing a 9-marker question. Because in this case we're expecting a kind of like a, so as I mentioned, so only AO1 is known. You can see AO2, AO3 and AO4 one we are making. So AO1, do not spend time on the definition. So some of you actually introduce this answer with the definition. What is customer satisfaction? What is profit? Unnecessary. So this case we expect in the AO2, you can see AO2 application skills are really important, the given case study. And also AO3, you can see the analysis points that the 2, if you make a 1 point, that's why you have to write the answer like that. We also actually totally agree with that kind of video. You can see like you have to write a first option, take a 1 option only, do not compare, stick to 1 option and then take that option. You have to write, start your answer with, I recommend option 1, customer satisfaction is more important, right? Like that, start like that, and look at the other one, and you can talk about the why it is important. Like option 1 is important because customer satisfaction, because the petrol business has currently won an award for this service. This is in the, refer the case study, they want some award there, right? Refer the case study, then you can find out the advantage of customer satisfaction. As a result of that, you can see when the customer satisfied, they will come again and again for the business, so increase the repeat purchase. They will tell these stories to others, their friends and family members. So then word of mouth marketing, again, it's increase the purchases and number of the market share. And then as a result, you can develop that point, right? This video also previously talked about this method called MELIBA, right? Make a point and then explain that point and then link it to case study and then write the impact on some business area. It can be what kind of impact is there. For example, result of this, if marketing department will get more sales as a result of that. Any business, it can be operations, it can be marketing, it can be HR, it can be ICT, it can anything. You can talk about that to some area of the business. I think this is the method. So this is the tips. The exam feedback is this, right? So when you're writing for a 9-marker question, don't forget to write a conclusion as well. However, it depends, and mainly the AJK or the methods they explain there. AO4, right? So if your option 1, you can talk about at the end kind of like a solution, use some kind of a solution for that problem. However, you can see it can likely result in short-term success. Sometimes there's award and everything will be their short-term success. Sometimes not suitable for because then your orders are growing and something you may subsidize a few months after the awards have won. Sometimes you can talk about that kind of, however it depends. Give some kind of solution, right? If customer satisfaction, if you're focusing only on customer satisfaction, sometimes you may lose your profit margin, right? But give some kind of solution, give some alternative viewpoint, impact on the another point. Make a point and then talk about that impact, the MELIBA point again. You can talk about AO4. However, customer satisfaction is important. Sometimes some people are using the both options are okay. They should have some kind of like a balance in between profit as well as the customer satisfaction, and they're giving their point like that way. Right? So you can see option 1, it may be difficult to sometime, you can see another point. However, it will be difficult to measure the feedback accurately. For customer satisfaction, sometimes it is very difficult to judge. So like that, you can see in this case study, it is difficult for the business to measure this feedback accurately. So it is possible that customers like social media pages sometimes, although they are not satisfied with services, lead to inaccurate results. So basically, we expect a 9-mark question like that. So normally in real paper in Edexcel, they are giving 2 9-mark question and 1 12-mark question, right? In one paper. So there are 2 papers are there, small business and a large business. In a small business paper also, there are 2 9-marker, 1 12-marker. In large business paper also, there are 2 9-markers and 1 12-marker. So you have to system in this case. You have to apply this situation. Application is really important. If you want to go for a good grade, you should think about this again and again, right? So I think I hope actually mainly today's my video was actually really helpful for you. So we talk about today mainly to sum up the lesson. We talk about how to write a 12 marker, and we talk about how that the online distribution thing from Mark and Spencer using is good. How to write a 12 marker in that case, and then now talk about the 9-marker structure, the customer satisfaction and profit. How would you write a good 9-marker structure? And we talk about we go to 2 important video clips and we find out what are the best structure. So if you miss some point, if you absent today, watch my video on YouTube channel and don't forget to subscribe also. Okay, then I'm winding up my studio session. Then thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye, sir. Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir. Thank you, sir. Bye.